I just tried calling Tom. It went right to voicemail, so. It's okay. You can come in. Come on. You can come in. Okay. Lay down. You can lay down. All right? You can lay down. My poor dog is so lonesome without his brother and doesn't like to be in a room with nobody in it. Try him one more time. Hey, Thomas, Ginger. It's 4 o'clock. I didn't know if you were having trouble getting in on computer. If so, you can call 607-322-6232. And that'll take you direct to Susan. Hope to catch you soon. Bye. Yeah. Hi, Jim. Okay. Okay. It's the subcommittee meeting for the minutes. So when he gets back, just have him join us. Super. Okay. Thanks, Shannon. No problem. Thank you. Bye-bye. Johanna says, I know he had it in his calendar, but I don't think he looked at it. He went down to the transfer station. So she's going to try and get a hold of him, and he'll join us as soon as he gets back. So we might as well start because it's 3:05, and because we're subject to 91A, I need to read our normal statement here. As chair of the Northwood Budget Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the Budget Committee have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through details located on our website and posted outside the town hall. If for any reason you cannot join or listen to this meeting, please call 607-322-6232. And with that, I will open the subcommittee, budget committee meeting to review budget minutes with a roll call. Betsy?
Here.
I'm here. And I'm not sure who might be.
That's Linda.
That's Linda. Okay, great. So I'm thinking we should just start with December 5th. And start by going through page 1. So Betsy, do you have any corrections that you saw?
Line 28, Betty Smith should be there.
Yeah. The other thing that I know Tom wanted to point out that he should be identified as vice chair, Thomas Chase. Those were the only ones I saw on page 1. How about page 2, Betsy?
I had Dan McNally leaving after line 28 before the vote on section 41402.
Okay,
Actually, I had him leaving before section 41401. When I was looking at my roll call counts.
No, we had 14-0 on that one.
No, it's 13-0. Dan wasn't there for that vote.
But 41 registration of records?
Yep.
That's not what I had. I had 14-0.
No, he wasn't there. He had already left.
I think something we need to bring up when someone's going to leave a meeting, they need to speak up and say they're leaving.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Because I had him leaving right after that vote.
he just kind of disappeared, if I remember correctly.
He did, as I was going down through, because I just read them down in the order in which they're on my tally sheets. And I got to him and he didn't respond. And then I went back afterwards and he still didn't respond. And he was gone. Let's see.
Figure that out when we get to it.
Yeah, he was gone until 41509. He was back.
So that means line 31 is 1201.
Correct.
And after line 38, wait a minute.
That should be that the motion,
Yeah, there's no motion vote there.
right. So the motion carried 13-0.
Right.
Now I've got a few others further up. So whenever you're ready, Susan.
On page 2.
On page 2, yep. Line 6, after library trustee, we should be were. So those 3 individuals were present to discuss the library budget. Then on line 10, the first amount is incorrect. That's what it ended up being. But the first motion was for $9,735.
And then it ended up being 11,000.
And then, right. We had discussion to increase the salary line.
So are we going to put any discussion in there or not? Or just that, because I'm the one that brought that up to change the line
Right.
and then Piper
Right.
Medicare fell after it. So
Right. We
just
can,
To you. I
we
was
can
just
put
kind of
in
making individual minutes.
that you noted the salary line was incorrect.
I will listen to the tape for that.
Okay. I think we need, we're on line 12, that it begins with amend the amount. I think we need to add in motion to amend the amount.
That actually looks like I cut and pasted my notes and meant to go back and fix it. Sorry.
No problem. And, I had different people listed as the second, but as you and I were talking yesterday or the day before, I forget which, Susan, when you got 2 or 3 people seconding all at once, sometimes it's hard to pick out which one. So I'm not as concerned about the seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've got a second listed and I've got a different one, just go with the one you've got, because what you hear and what I hear may be 2 different things when 2 people are talking at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, that happens in all of my,
It does. Absolutely.
even the smaller ones.
Yeah,
No.
I would like to be certain that the person who made the motion is listed correctly, but the second, whichever one we pick up on, works, as long as it's seconded.
That's where we discussed a year ago for you to repeat who it was.
And I thought I did, usually by saying, thank you, Betsy, or thank you, Betty, or thank you, Mike, or whatever, but not clearly identifying with a full name who was the
Yeah,
second.
well, so the chair of the planning board will repeat. Motion by Betty Smith, second by Al Kreider. He's doing
Good
it for me.
point.
Yeah.
And we'll carry that forward because that's an excellent idea. Eliminates confusion.
Can I jump in for a minute?
Please do,
Sure.
Linda.
I'd love to join you, but I'm glad this is going and I'm all set. I just wanted to ask Susan a question as to the status of the 13th minutes.
Oh, I will post them.
Well, I'm just wondering if I know it would be a pain to have to go through this again, but I don't know what I
Those
just
were
thought about it
definitely-
and thought, well,
Those are definitely
Be a
not as
pain to
bad
have
as
to-
these.
it just depends on your time and the subcommittee's time, whether you want to have another quick meeting before the 27th to wrap up the 13th minutes.
That's,
would be a
yeah,
great
if it's
After they
idea.
go out.
one set of
Well,
minutes. So the other thing is that I need to mail all this stuff out too,
Right.
once I fix them. So I can do that. I can go in and do it tomorrow. And then you'll get the fixed ones, but then I can also send you the 13th, and then you guys can look it over. If you feel like you need another meeting, I don't think they're going to be as bad as these.
Yeah, I think the 13th was a relatively short meeting, and typically we review them during a regular meeting. Reviewing 4
Yeah,
sets
so-
was going to
right.
be a challenge, but I think if we make the corrections on these 4, and Susan mails those out along with the draft minutes for the 13th, we can go through these 4 with the full committee fairly quickly, unless there are other people who have picked up things that we don't happen to pick up, and then we can just address the minutes from the 13th with the full board, just as we typically would do, rather than having
That's
another
not-
Zoom meeting.
That's not my understanding, but first I'll just say I agree that the 13th minutes could be reviewed and accepted on the 27th, as long as people have them. But my understanding is the subcommittee was going through those 4. I didn't think it was going to be all opened up again to go through every single change.
God, I
I thought
hope
it was just going. I thought it was that was the purpose of the subcommittee. If
Correct.
anybody else has changes, then they should have jumped onto the subcommittee. That I thought the committee was giving authority to you folks to do that, and then they would do a final acceptance.
And that would be my understanding as well. My thought was that on the meeting next week, okay, do we have a motion to accept the minutes of December 5th? And then get a second, Are
Right,
there any
right.
additional changes? Seeing none, we do a vote to accept.
Well, that's
Yes?
what I
No?
thought. I thought a minute ago you were saying you were going to open it all back up again, and as
Well,
far as
no,
going
not-
through say what your changes were, they're going to get a revised set. That's all I'm
Correct.
saying.
No, I wasn't suggesting that we review all the changes that we found, just that these are the updated minutes. We've had some corrections made,
Perfect. Perfect.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay, Tom. We'll forgive you this time.
Oh, well, Tom's coming in. I'm going to bow out. I've got to go back to the town report. And are you recording, Susan, on YouTube?
Yep. YouTube, and I'm recording. Can you hear me?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, now I can.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank all of you, and thank you, Susan, for
Sure.
doing this. And I think it'll be the quickest way. These are tough minutes, no matter who's doing them. And Susan's really, she's got a lot going, and we've got them all done. And I appreciate the three of you stepping up to the subcommittee to finish this up.
Well, as somebody who's done minutes for the school, I can certainly grasp how challenging doing budget committee meeting minutes can be. So as far as I'm concerned, she did a great job. So that
Okay, on
being
that
said,
note, I will see you next week
yes, Wednesday.
on Zoom. Right.
Yes.
Take care.
Thanks,
Stay
Linda.
warm, folks. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Okay, so just to get you up to date, Tom, we're on page 2 of December 5th minutes. And Betsy's mentioned some of the ones that she found. And then I was going back over some of the ones that I found.
Headed to page 3 now, right?
Well, I've got one more on, because we already corrected that one. On line 27, on page 2, voter registration should be restoration of records.
And then the vote.
And
should
the
be
vote
13.
count was 13-0. And as Betsy mentioned earlier on line 31, the vote count should be 12-01 because Dan had exited. And then adding on line 38, after Betty seconded, that the motion carried 13-0.
I'm not going to have much to add because I gave
I know you did.
my raw copies, so I'm happy to sit here, be mute, and agree when you all get around to it.
Okay, so if we go on to page 3. Do you have anything there, Betsy?
Line 3, the amount. I had $15,425.
Okay, let me just check the budget here. That was audit. Correct, it is 14,425.
What?
I mean 15,425, sorry. It was one of the ones that I missed when I went through it the second time. Anything else, Betsy?
Line 15, I had Dan back for that vote, but
Yes,
the motion carried 14-0.
correct. And actually, Dan made that motion. And going back up to line 12, the motion carried, that should be 13-0. Because Dan wasn't back yet. So if we move him returning to the meeting between,
12 and 13,
right,
or 41505 and
Correct.
41509.
yeah.
That's weird. So I had a different person, Linda had a different person, and you had a different person. making-
Yeah, I made certain to write down who had made the motion. The second, I kind of figured that we would be we might come up with somebody different. In fact, I had Dan and Pam on those two rather than Grace and Betty, but
So I had Grace and Betty, and then
but the
Linda
next
had-
one,
Linda had Betty and Grace, Betty making the motion, Grace, whatever.
well, as Betsy mentioned earlier, and you had mentioned as well, Susan, any future votes will be certain to articulate who was the motion and who was the second, so that there won't be any confusion at that point.
Well, we both, like I said, Linda and I were talking, we're like, I know I'm missing some of these, so.
Let's see, what else was there? Some periods that Tom saw, at the end of sentences, like the end of line 20.
Oh, I've given those up for the new year.
You're not doing periods, huh? Is that your New Year's resolution? No
Never
period?
end a sentence.
Never end a sentence. You never know. Down on line 33, the roll call vote, my records indicated 13-0-1 with Steve
Okay.
Robinson abstaining.
Okay.
Then he was told he didn't have to. He doesn't get any pay for that.
Right, but the vote stood. He didn't change his vote. We can go back and double check the tape, I guess, but
Okay, I'll double check it. I don't think he changed it. But I do remember that part of it.
so that's what I have on page 3. Do you have anything else, Betsy?
Line 37, but I don't know why.
Because the T
It's,
didn't come down.
That could be,
yeah, it might be better if that's in the same line,
yeah.
because it was
Yeah.
Ted.
It didn't want to bring it down, apparently.
There was enough space. The computer said so.
That's what he said.
Okay, page 4. Anything, Betsy?
Wait a minute. I thought we totally removed the medical services. Made it a 0.
Which line?
Down on 30 to 32.
Okay. 42217. 22. Well, that's entirely
Page 10.
that's entirely possible
Yeah, we
because as
did.
I was looking at my tally sheets, Dan did make the motion, and then I've just got a straight line drawing through. So we may very well have,
I did an X through it that we took it out because it's been 0 for a few years.
right. Tom, do you have any recollection?
No,
I'm, as you're mentioning it, I'm thinking that's exactly what we did, because I've just got a line straight through after we did the motion and second and no votes.
Because that section isn't used anymore and hasn't been. There's another medical section further on.
Right, right. Okay, so but I'm thinking that we have to have some reference to it that the committee decided
First
to
of all,
eliminate it.
It was a 0 amount in the line, not a 1. Not a $1. It was 0. In our original paperwork.
Let's see, page 10, you said?
Middle of the page.
Yeah, it was. And then we talked about that being one of the lines with 0 on it, that if they were going to spend money, they had to have at least $1, because I've got the dollar added in,
But the use
but I've
isn't
got
there
no
anymore.
vote.
It's not used for what it used to be used for. So it could state something to the effect that it's not used anymore. So we have a 0 in it that covers it. So if somebody looks, they can see what we did.
And actually, on the new budget that was printed out on the 11th, it is showing that it's staying as 0. And it's a $1 decrease.
Well, I'll do whatever, I'll take it out because that's what happened during this meeting. Whatever they did with it afterwards.
Yeah, I think we did. The more I'm thinking back on it, the more I'm thinking that we did during discussion, but didn't actually make it a formal vote.
Right. I put an X through mine, which I wouldn't have done otherwise.
Right. So yeah, I think we need to maybe just in discussion, since it hasn't been used for several
Hasn't been
years,
used in decades.
we'll just remove it. Did you have anything else on page 4, Betsy?
No.
Okay, I did have one back on line 11. The amount
Yeah,
48,908, not
I think-
903.
Yeah,
I think I hit an 8 instead of a 3.
I had to
That's-
get my magnifying glass out just to make sure I was seeing a 3 and not an 8.
You want to know what you should get? This. It has a
Ooh.
light on it.
It has a light. Ooh.
I'm not admitting that I can't really see as well.
Yes, it is an 8.
Yeah, I had checked the budget and it should have been an 8, so we can make that one. That's the only thing that I had on page 4. Page 5. I think we need to continue as we did with the other sections with the account number and then the
Yeah.
name.
I just probably was
Spaced
on a
it.
roll. It was
Yeah,
the end of it.
I
so-
know, I know. So if we can add in
Yeah.
those account numbers before the section descriptor.
So Mike Moore abstained or voted no? I had him as no.
for-
Actually, it wasn't Mike Moore, it was Dan who voted no, according to my tally sheet.
I had Dan with a question mark of missing again.
Oh, he didn't, he voted no?
Wait a minute. 44111. Let me check my tally. Let's see.
I don't have,
Okay, that 44111 is the health department.
oh yeah, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there,
So he didn't abstain, he just,
so he didn't abstain,
Okay.
and I've got nobody abstaining on that line.
2, I had just 13-0.
Right.
Take Mike out.
On line 8, I've got Betty as making the motion.
okay. So I should probably, if Dan disappeared again,
That was he was back again for the next vote.
Yeah.
but I
he
should
just-
probably note it in between. Because if there's less people voting.
Right, to explain why the
abstaining.
votes changed. Sometimes we had 12-0 and then we had 14-0 and, yeah.
See, that's the problem though, is if they don't
So
say
if we
anything. I
change
don't know.
that to the motion carried 13-0 and D. McNally not present,
Oh, I can do that. Like one
rather
time,
than adding a line to it and stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
one time last year, you got up and made a phone call or got a phone
Right,
call. So I
right.
just did.
And
some-
Tom took over. Yep. Yeah, that's when I had an injured person who broke a leg up on the mountain coming to my house for the week, so I remember that.
Okay.
So on animal control, rather than Dan, I've got Betty making the motion.
Okay.
And that vote should be 14-0, not 15. Because we've never had 15 lately.
That's right. So the 16
Is
One.
definitely off, right,
was from, because I took the old minutes just to pull them all over and I read.
right.
I was trying to save time, make it easier on myself, but it made it worse.
So do all these need to say because of the Zoom meeting, motion carried by roll call vote and then the number instead of just motion carried?
I have been doing since Zoom, motion carried by roll call vote but instead of putting everybody's name down, only putting.
No,
the
no
people who
names, just,
know.
I'm just saying the wording, you know,
Yes, that's
instead-
that's what we've been doing because of electronically.
Okay,
So-
so the ones on page 5 would all need to have the motion
Yeah.
carried by
Yeah.
roll call. I didn't pick that up.
we should be consistent, but it should be that anyway.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Line 19, the vote.
Yep, should be 14-0. And on line 18, we just need to put the word of.
Yep.
So the welfare administration budget of 12,000, just as we've done with all the others. See where I mean, Sue?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know you've given up periods at ends of sentences for New Year's, but I think Tom, the
This was in
teacher, would be
December.
so grateful if you would put periods.
This
at
was
the end.
December, so that excuse doesn't work.
Oh,
But-
okay.
All of the minutes from here on out. And my text messages, and emails.
Oh, gosh, sometimes I get them in, sometimes I don't. Depends on whether or not my thoughts have run ahead of my fingers, which quite often happens. So Betsy, did we miss anything on that you thought of on the minutes for the 5th?
Now, I don't know if you want to add in on line 33 where you work session made a motion to recess the work session until December 7th. Do you want the Monday in there or you don't care?
I don't think we need it. We've
Oh,
got
and
the
then-
date.
It-
Right.
I see these 2 lines that didn't carry down the initial, but I'll fix that. It's annoying.
So this whole page needs the account numbers
Right.
added in.
And then motion carried by roll call.
Was it? I'm just kidding. Some of my
Hey,
boards.
look
don't
at it
do a
this way,
roll call
Susan.
vote.
This is job security we're doing here.
Oh, I'm just saying, some of my boards, and I'm not going to mention who, they don't always do the roll call at the end. They just say,
Really?
can't disagree with this.
Yeah, it's not like the old days.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the 7th. Anything on page 1, Betsy?
Yes.
There.
So for the record, I was excused that night, not Ted. Ted was there. He's in 2 places. But I did watch the tape, so Betty was present. And I should be in place if Ted is excused.
Okay.
I had texted Linda.
No, Ted was excused as well. We had 4 missing that night.
Okay, well, Betty was definitely there.
Betty was there. She needs to be added in, and you need to be added in as excused.
Okay.
And
Because we were missing you, Brad, Ted, and
Brian.
Brian.
Then down on line 40, 41, Bob was just getting logged in. So should he have just not considered voting instead of abstaining because he didn't hear the discussion?
Let's see.
That'd be
what was
clearer, cleaner.
it?
I mean, if he abstained,
That was the night he had the issues with the internet.
I'm just saying, if he said he abstained, then
Yeah, because we ended up, that's highway administration, and we ended up doing that.
He'd been on the tail end of that discussion, so he just abstained.
Correct.
Well, if he abstained, then we have to put down. that he
Then we have
abstained.
to record it as abstained, right?
So at some point, you got to put him in as to when he showed up at the meeting, though.
Right.
My
came in
notes
late.
say, my notes say 7:15.
I think because he showed up so soon after, I put him in the present,
Yep,
um, the present, the list of the people present. I can't remember words.
because
today either.
actually that was the first vote anyway.
Yeah. But I can take him out of that and add it.
For the sake
you-
of 15 minutes.
I mean,
I-
that's kind of been my, if they show up in time to say something during a vote, that, the very first vote, then I will usually just put them in the original lists. Because that's just how I've been doing it, so.
Oh, I just realized something at the very top. I just happened to notice it.
Oh, it says 9:05 a.m.
Yeah, it says 9:05 a.m. I think it was like 7:05.
7. Yeah.
I just noticed that.
Okay. We on page 2?
Now, I think we can just leave it that he abstained, and if anybody wants to ask him why he abstained, he came in near the end of the discussion and felt he would abstain rather than voting yes or no.
That was the night he lost his internet and he was trying to get in a different way.
Right. Okay, how about page 2?
Line 9, the vote should be 12-0.
Correct? That's what I got.
Line 32, the dollar figure should be $26,146.
Yep. And line 15, I have Dan making the motion. Anything else, Betsy?
I don't think. You have anything else on that page?
Nope, I don't have anything else on that page other than the aforementioned periods after sentences, the same. And that's all I've got for page 3. You have anything for page 3?
Line 16, the name that goes with the account number.
Oh, yep.
Which is,
Remain the name that goes with the account number.
Interest on TAN, it's like 47231. And then
Oh, yeah.
This year, I learned a lot about.
Yes.
interest on TAN.
Yeah.
We good on the 7th?
Yep.
Okay. Moving on to the 9th. On line 30, we just need to add that Brian and Brad were excused. And on line 44, just after the recommended by Board of Selectmen 5-0, the end parentheses. You have anything else on page 1, Betsy?
So this was the one that was discussed about line 39. It's supposed to be the first payment.
I thought they turned it into,
I
No, this is the one that went back and forth on because we haven't made a first payment. So that one is fire apparatus.
thought that that was,
right, and if you go up further on page 2, it goes into the amended language.
yes, I put the original and then the amended.
Right,
So you could see what got changed.
right, the original warrant article was read in.
And I actually put the changes in so everybody could see.
Yes, you did. It said second and you put lines through it. we
Okay,
could
so we're
see
gonna
first.
leave the original stuff there and then, okay,
Correct.
that's fine.
I think that makes sense. So
It
people
makes,
can
to me, that
understand.
makes sense
Yeah.
because anybody who's looking at an older version of the warrant
Yeah, we do that.
is gonna potentially question that. This way, they can see what the original article read and what it got amended to.
When we do new zoning language and are changing something, we do the exact same thing. in the
Right.
planning board.
And that only makes sense because how do you know whether on a zoning change, whether to vote for it or not, if you don't know what the old one was?
Right.
You don't know what the changes were.
Well, we try to explain it. Well, I
Yep.
don't. Linda does.
Do you have anything on page 2, Betsy?
Line 14. Okay, wait a minute. I just handwritten note on there. It's first year, 7 years.
And that's probably correct. But
Yeah.
what was said at the meeting?
Now, I believe I brought up at the meeting that was the first of 7 only because it wasn't in there.
Okay, I'll go back and listen to it.
Because that's how we missed it a few years ago, that it wasn't in there, back when Joan Gunther was here. We
Right,
missed it.
but keep in mind, these are our minutes when we were working on it. The minutes from the 13th, they did change it on the updated warrant, which
'cause
is
I
what I
brought it
read
up
in
here.
on the 13th for the public hearing, and that will show, it does say as the first payment on a 7-year lease purchase.
And the other thing is, I remember discussing the language. They were saying something about DRA approves it, the actual language. So
Right.
maybe that's why it wasn't.
Yeah,
I'll go back and listen to that part. That's no problem.
Because
don't
we
think-
missed a payment on the ambulance back when Joe Gunther was here. We missed a year because the numbers weren't put in there. So that's why I'm so used to catching those. And I had said something about it was the first of 7 because it wasn't in the original wording.
correct, but if you want to add that catch in as added discussion for this section of the minutes, that's fine. It is reflected in the updated warrant article that was read. That was part of the discussion, and these aren't including a lot of the discussion because they'd be forever. So we could certainly add that in if you wanted to, that you pointed out that it should say first of 7
I think we should,
lease purchase
otherwise we get
payment.
off on the years.
Okay, I'll add it in.
And then I know I brought up in lines 28 and 29 that because this was the second of 3 years on the portable radios,
Yeah,
that on line 28, it said mobile radios over the next 3 years. I clarified that that would be 2 now, and also the 15 years old, which they decided to let go, but this is a second of a 3-year.
So they just took the language from last year. Is that what?
right.
Yeah, John just did it with it.
And let's see. The plan, let me just see what it says. Okay, so the revised warrant article, for what it's worth, in our minutes, the original one was the plan will replace all our portable and mobile radios over the next 3 years. In the revised warrant article, it says the plan will replace all of our portable and mobile radios over the 3-year period.
Right.
So they corrected that after you pointed it out in the final warrant article.
Yep.
I didn't have anything on page 2 other than the proverbial periods at the ends of sentences. Anything else on 2, Betsy?
No,
Okay. Moving on to page 3. The only thing that I had was on line 7. Again, end parentheses after recommended by the Board of Selectmen. Do you have anything on 3, Betsy?
I'm just looking. The only thing was on line 28, but I think they did put it in at 8,400. It should have been approximate because it's under 8,400, just barely. But, and then there's, yeah, because that figure couldn't be finalized until after December 31st. Of exactly what would be transferring. I thought we were using the word, raise and appropriate. I thought they were using approximate, but maybe
yeah,
not.
they kept it as 8,400, even in the revised one. See prior article. Okay, in the prior article, which we don't vote on, to discontinue the Bicentennial Committee Trust Fund, estimated balance $8,400 as of December 31st, 2020. So I'm sure at deliberative, if it's less than the 8,400, or if it's any different, because they want to close out that account completely, as I understand it.
It's kind of tricky because by the time they close it out, which would be after the March vote, it will have 8,400 in it. It has 8,370 right now, I believe.
Yeah,
So
so
it's going
I
to
think
be
any
somewhere
dollar
around there.
amount change like that would have to come from them at deliberative.
I don't think at deliberative I would bother changing that because you're going to have interest added to that.
Right. And I don't think I'd even want to put in up to, because if it turns out that we got more interest surprisingly, which is probably doubtful, but if you did, If you put in up to, and it had $2 more, then you're gonna have to keep $2 in the account.
And we don't want to do that because we're closing the
Correct.
account out.
Correct.
So
So
It's
I
gonna
think
be-
it's all right the way it is. Do you have anything else on 3?
I'm good.
How about 4?
4, line 30. Facilities Committee Expendable Trust Fund, not deposit.
Ah, yep.
That's what they called it.
Huh?
I thought maybe they changed the name of it. Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, I was like, okay, I must have missed that. So I'll just put it as he had it written
Well,
down.
no, that's exactly what they did. And Article 7, which we didn't get to until last, the 13th, they listed
Got it
as
wrong.
expendable trust fund deposits for the cable transfer station and cemetery. But it should be expendable trust funds. And how about
On page 5,
page 5? Yep.
line 28. Safety.
Ooh, I missed that one. Hey, everybody's entitled to make up new words and have new spellings. Just because we
Kinda
don't
sensitive.
agree.
Kind of sensitive to the trust funds and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Line 37. The roll call vote should be 12-2.
Right.
And on line 42, Tom, our teacher, suggested that we add a comma between equipment and both.
Right. You know what?
What?
I didn't make that spelling mistake. Whoever wrote it, because I got them right from from the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those that catch that stuff would have caught that too. Betty would have caught that.
I'm just saying, I cut and
Bunny would have
paste
caught
these.
it.
I cut and paste these from the Y drive.
Right. Center Public Safety Capital Reserve.
I just realized that. So I can spell. I just didn't see the red squiggly lines.
There you go. Anything else on 5, Betsy?
No.
The only thing I have on 6 is on line
Yeah.
9. Motion carried by roll call vote, and it should be 14-0. Because we all wanted to go. That's all I've got for the 9th. Shall we get to the end of the road with the 12th?
Oh God, the school. It's usually easy. It wasn't this year.
Yeah, well, numbers had changed. That's part of it.
Well, and then So Linda was asking me, she's like, why did you call it cost center? I'm like, I don't know. That's what Brian was saying. So I just,
Yeah, but that doesn't belong on there.
yeah, I didn't
I got it
know.
from.
Well, it's on the budget, on their budget that they sent. And then he was saying cost center. So,
Yeah, because that's how they refer to it at their meetings.
It only have the number and the name.
That's
like the
all that's
town ones.
necessary is just the number and name.
they didn't really have, it doesn't really have names. You have to kind of guess.
Well, they're down at the end of the section. So for instance, on,
Oh, I see. Okay. I'll change them. I'll just get rid of that cost center thing. I didn't like it either, but sounds like a discount store.
does, doesn't it? And there's no discount there. Okay, page 1 on the 12th. Anything, Betsy?
Yeah, hold on a minute. See, this is part of this new system they're on because like it should say, 1100 elementary ed, 1200 special ed.
Right.
So it's how they were put into this new system, and that's why you're getting that.
But I think if
So-
we just remove the
Cost center.
cost center, the rest of it'll be fine.
So Brian Winslow, are we ready or not?
Yeah. Well, are you all set, Sue?
Yeah,
I love your furry friend.
has to be right next to me all the time.
I know, they love us.
So Eric was excused that day with Brad Hall, and Brian
Right.
was there.
Correct.
Right.
Snowing out.
Yeah, I got a ding on my phone a little bit ago from the National Weather Center saying we were gonna have light snow for the next hour. Wouldn't amount to much. Anything else on page 1, Betsy?
I don't.
Okay. So if we go to page 2, because this is when we finished up with the town. Just parentheses around the end of line 5, recommended by the Board of Selectmen 5-0. See where I mean, Susan? And we're gonna take out the terms cost center and just leave the rest.
Right. And that's what we're used to seeing minus
Right.
that.
Exactly, exactly. Anything else on page 2?
No.
Okay, going on to page 3, I've got several dollar amounts that we need to fix. So starting with line 2 for the section 2120 guidance, the amount should be $164,702.43.
Yep.
And we need to add in somewhere around line 28. Section 2220 for the library.
Before we get there,
Yeah,
on line 14,
yeah.
are we putting in the 64 cents or not?
He rounded off some up and down, and some of them we got the exact amounts. I think we need to show it as he worded it. So if he rounded them off, we should keep them rounded. If he gave us exact numbers, including cents, then we should keep the cents.
I mean, I understand why we've encouraged him to drop cents, but when you
That's what
go
the
back and
minutes
forth,
reflect.
then
I know,
when you
but
get to the
that,
end, it doesn't total up.
but it all comes out in the wash at the end
Go.
on the 13th when we recessed that part at the end of, not the 13th, yeah, in January, when we recessed it to come up with the exact figure, I thought. Maybe not. Let me go back. So I gotta look. It all comes out in the wash when we're doing Article 2 because that amount was exact. Remember, this is what was said and done during our meeting. And the minutes have to reflect what was said and done during our meeting. So if he gave dollars and cents on some lines and rounded off to just dollars on others, we have to reflect that. And the bottom line for that, for the operating budget, is what they gave us, what we voted on. If it's off by cents, that's on them. My thoughts. So back to the library, Susan,
Yes. Okay.
the 2220. Brian made the motion to recommend, excuse me, $89,848. My notes were that Betty seconded it.
Yep.
And the motion carried by a roll call vote of 14-0.
Yes. Okay.
Then on line 30, for technology, the correct amount is $205,899.41. The next one I have is for line 38. The amount should be $4,575.13.
Yep.
And the last one I have on that page is line 43. I didn't
I got-
abstain, Betsy did.
Oops.
Right, but on line 41 should read, the title should be school district treasurer, not school board treasurer.
Right.
Right, I abstained on that one, not you.
Right. I got no reason to abstain no more. That's all I had for,
Line 45,
oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, what is it?
closest I can come, it's got advertising in it, election day stuff, so election day expenses. I just call it election.
It's 2314. Yeah, I would call it election. Because it's the legal notices, when are we having the meetings, police services, yeah, I would call it elections.
Election expense, whatever. Expense is plural.
Anything else, Betsy?
No. Somebody wants to
Hey.
join us.
Yes,
There must be a
mine's
score.
out in the garage at the moment, otherwise he'd be calling for a play date, so. Okay, next page. What you got, Betsy?
Line 15, the
Yep,
vote,
yep,
14-0.
14-0. Line 22. The amount should be 3,750. When I saw that, I said, whoa, what did we spend all that money? Or what are they gonna spend all that money on? But it should be
That should,
3,750.
yeah.
I know, that's the amount of raise you want, Susan, huh? That's where the number came from. Okay, on line 26. For the fire alarm should be $7,080. I've got line 35.
I did a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
We don't have any school board votes before we voted on any of this.
These are just the individual departments. We didn't have it for individual departments for the town either. Just the warrant articles.
All right, what do you got next?
Line 35. Should be motion carried by roll call vote, should be 14-0. And line 43, the vote should be,
I don't think Susan's with us here. I'll take the dog.
what's the dog's name?
Brutus.
I'm sorry?
Brutus.
Brutus.
Hmm.
He looks like Thumper in a way.
Yeah.
Look at him, he's turning his head.
Yes,
So-
he knows we're talking about him.
Where'd we leave you, Susan?
Line 43. I got 35.
Well,
Okay, yeah.
lines 37 and 41, it's transportation, ION on the end of both of those.
Okay.
Then the vote on 43.
Yeah, should be 14-0.
Then we forgot, we gotta put the homeless 27, 26 in there.
It's on the next page.
Yep,
Okay, but because we changed funds here from Fund 1 to Fund 4 for the food service, it needs to fall on this page and flip food service to the next page.
Can
Food
we
service is
just
a
move
different
the-
category totally.
yeah. Can we just move the food service, Susan, to the end right before the warrant articles?
Yep.
That's what it should be.
Okay, anything else on that page, Betsy?
Did we get the homeless one?
It's on the
27,
top of the
26.
next page.
Okay. Wait a minute.
So she's just gonna move.
Okay,
food
gonna move
service.
those two. So we're
Right.
all set there.
Okay, so now we're on to warrant articles.
Right.
So those two amounts need to change. What you've got, Susan, is what was in the original warrant that they were still
Okay.
working on. So the amounts that we approved, and so the word description for each number has to be changed as well, but for line 16, that amount should be 12,116,261 with the correct words. And on line 18, the default budget should be 12,000,000 176,648.
No,
Under Article 3,
I don't know why I put does not pass.
I'm sorry?
I don't know why I put does not pass.
I don't know either, but maybe it was wishful thinking. I don't know. And on line 42, we should list that Paul Tudor voted no. See, he agrees too. Did you have anything else on that page, Betsy?
No, that's it.
Okay. So moving on, we get into the districts. Under Article 2, the line 14, I have Bob Young as the one making the motion.
Okay.
And we're just gonna remove Article 4 because we didn't vote on that until last week.
Yeah, I know. I meant to take that out.
Want to leave it there with just a blank line
Nope,
or not?
'Cause
No,
you
Going out
didn't talk-
totally.
we only voted on Article 2 and 3 because at the time, they didn't have figures for 4 and 5. And I think we can take out lines 35 and 36. So it's just the Cove Village District, Mr. Jobin presented their proposed operating budget, and then the next line would be the Cove Village warrant articles.
Yeah.
And line 42, their
So, wait a
commissioner
minute.
vote was 2-0.
I thought, didn't we vote on the, on line 36?
Yeah, but it's down below. We had to read the article, then if you go
Oh,
up,
yeah, okay.
go up to the next page, that's where our vote is.
Duplicated.
I think on line 6 on the next page, we should capitalize the R in road and the M in maintenance. Then on line 19, Eric wasn't there, so I read off his statement that he had sent to me, so
What did we do with Article 4?
we've got to add that. I've got a note, I've got a long line going down that we add that in. So actually, we can go back up. What would be line 17 or 18 or whatever. Betty made the motion to recommend Article 4. Grace seconded it. And motion carried by roll call of 14-0. Make sense, Susan?
Yep.
Okay. Did you have anything, Betsy?
Line 24,
Yeah,
isn't that 17,600?
correct. I caught another one,
32?
32, yep. Should be 3,300.
Hey, we're done.
We are.
Okay, good work to do.
So are you still working on the last set, Susan, or are they done?
Yeah, I'm just about done with them.
Way we want to review those before they hit the mail? Or get back to her with anything instead of spending time going
Well, that-
through?
That's
many-
what Linda was talking about.
Right. How many pages are there, Susan?
I'm trying to
On the
remember.
on the last meeting? Because it was only a couple hours.
Only a couple of hours, it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because it's just the warrants. But in the beginning you did, I'm looking at my notes right now. Yeah, you did the town warrants and then you opened
And
a
we
public
did
hearing.
the water district, 2 articles.
Water
Well, we went
district-
into the public hearing and all I did with the public hearing was read everything.
Right, so yeah, so I think I'm on page 3 now, maybe 4. But it's a lot of just warrant articles that I
Right.
kind of I cut and paste and put in there.
Right.
So, I mean, in the beginning you talked about the minutes. You created the subcommittee. Then you did some amendments to the articles. And then you did the articles where you got the numbers because
Right.
of the 31st. Then you open the public hearing, close the work session, open public hearing, go through all the articles. Then the 3 village districts. I wrote 3 village districts. I don't know why.
Yep.
Okay. Then you came out of public hearing and then you recessed the work session. Is that what you did?
Yeah.
I can't. I'll have to look at my minutes, but I don't think it's going to be anything like this. Meaning I had a lot more time to go slow.
Right. I don't think we need another Zoom meeting.
No.
Thinking of
if-
these going in the mail?
Yes, I'm going to send them out tomorrow.
So the corrections that we just went over.
I'm going to do these tonight, finish my minutes tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm getting in trouble for working late. So not from anyone except there's like stop working overtime.
Yep.
So finish up your minutes tomorrow and then go into town and do a big printing mailing thing of just the minutes. Because I don't think there's anything else I need to send you.
No, I mean, we've got an agenda, but I'll send you the things to put on it, which you
Okay,
need for posting
I can
anyway.
email that.
I'm sorry?
I mean, if you don't get it to me before I do the mailing, you guys are.
Oh,
okay
no,
with me.
I'll work on the items. I'll work on it when we're done here and send it to you.
But the agenda could be used as an email news blast reminder for Wednesday night.
I
Throw
can
it
do
on
that
there.
too. So
Right,
usually I send out the Zoom information. as a
right, right.
Can you tell me what time the deliberative session starts and everything so I can put it on the website?
To the best of my knowledge, it's starting at 9 o'clock.
And it's in the elementary school?
And again, to the best of my knowledge, it's at the elementary school.
Stop.
I need to
Stop it.
get a hold of Keith tomorrow anyway, because I've got a couple of questions for him that he had emailed me about, so I can try and verify it and then let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, Brutus listens like Thumper listens.
I don't know
Or my
why he's
husband, for
driving.
that matter.
No, he listens to my husband. He does not listen to me.
Aha.
I could probably have my husband call, put him on speakerphone. Listen.
So have they obviously haven't posted it yet?
No, not that I've
Hey,
seen. I mean,
The
he's gonna
deliberative,
post it.
I don't know.
I haven't seen it.
He's
I haven't
probably
looked
gonna,
for it.
so tomorrow night. Stop. Tomorrow night we have planning board to finish up our warrants. It's one, I think. And then we'll get that to him on Friday. I think the everything has to be posted on Friday, right?
All I know is that tomorrow is the last day for me to get the town, the budget, the approved stuff
But you know how they have to
for
take
the
it
town and the school.
hang it at the
Right.
meeting
I
place.
think it's Friday. I think it's
Yes.
Friday.
Sit down.
But that ought to be coming from somebody officially and not us trying to second guess what we last tried.
Well, before I left yesterday, I asked Paul and he didn't know, so.
You might want to just check with Keith since he's the moderator and he's the one that's making all the arrangements.
Okay. I just wanted to post it.
I know. before it slips minds and while you're posting all the other stuff, makes sense.
It'll be a week from Saturday. It needs to get posted for the public's
Yeah.
sake.
We've been posting a lot of stuff on Facebook and it's gotten, stop it. It's gotten a lot of, I think it's called engagements. Like you can gauge, how many people have looked at it.
Mhm.
Nobody ever says they're going to everything, like my events, but I have a lot of fun with it.
What else, where else, just out of curiosity, do you guys post things besides outside the town hall, the post office,
Town
and
hall
on the
post-
town's website?
Website.
It's just, for those of us who don't get involved with face crap,
Oh, I don't blame you. I understand. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
don't worry. He sounds good.
The Lucy and I have like an understanding. She gets stuff from, I'll send her stuff, or she'll get it from Facebook, or but I usually remember to send her agendas when I remember it. So,
Okay. I was wondering if she was still
yeah, she
still
seems to-
reporting, because I haven't seen anything other than school stuff for quite a while on the
I think
forum.
she had quite a year reporting and probably is just taking some time off.
That's entirely possible. Yep.
So
So,
So the town needs to get that posted, and they should also consider asking to put it on the school sign, since that's where it's going to be located.
right. I can just send Walter an email.
yep, that would work.
I'm sure someone else has already thought of it, but I'll make sure.
Well, you can just tell them that the budget committee subcommittee, if you're in agreement, Tom, made the recommendation that the school be contacted and asked to put the notice for the town's public hearing. Heck, if you want to do the town on one side and the school on the other, because the school's just a few days after that. Or deliberative, I should
These
say.
are things people want to know before now.
I mean, yeah, they have a nice new sign. That is new, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because the other one, the wind blew down and broke. So,
That's crazy wind. Okay. So
as
I'll be
far
sure-
as the minutes from the 13th,
I will email them to you first.
yeah, you could email them to us, and the three of us could take an advanced look and just be ready if we notice
be nice.
anything on the next meeting, and we can just rattle it off.
Okay.
I really don't see the need. And my understanding, when the budget committee voted to form this subcommittee, it was just to review the minutes that we had at that point, not the minutes
Right.
from the night we were meeting.
Right.
Just
Because-
to get this backlog taken care of.
So when you send these all out, can you differentiate between the 4 sets that we just went through and make sure that somewhere they understand they need to read the 5th set, the last set, and pay attention to it in case they find
I
stuff
can-
we don't?
I can add it
I
to
don't
the
want 'em to
heading.
think that all the sets are, and,
That
final.
have been reviewed.
I will
Which
make a
might-
note.
What you
I'll
might
send it
consider,
with the vote.
Susan, the 4 sets that we just went through, if you can even handwrite on the top of it, revised draft,
Yeah, I'll just put it on the heading of all of them so that,
Right.
so it's in red.
so
or
that they
something.
know that those we've gone through, the set from January 13th, we all still need to go through.
Yeah.
Make sense? Cool.
Thank you. And I apologize
Don't.
for,
We needed the entertainment.
okay.
These are Kyode.
Oh, I
So-
apologize that you had to have a subcommittee to go through my minutes.
No,
But
no,
yeah,
no, no, no.
I apologize for the dog too.
Like I had said earlier, I've done enough of the school board minutes to know how long it can take if you get interrupted, if the recording shuts off or whatever. And we're all human, you know, considering everything that was in there. I thought you did an excellent job. I was going to say something else, but I can't say it on TV.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Tom, Betsy, do either of you have anything else?
I just want to concur what you were saying about Susan's minute taking. I've done minutes for, would you believe, week-long board meetings,
Mm,
to
I'd
which
help
I
you.
have to then feedback what these idiots had to say over 5 or 6 days. You do a really good job, and it is, the other thing, it's usually a thankless job because it's sort of after the fact, and most people don't really care that much about the past anyway. So I very much appreciate it, and please see my editorial comments and punctuation corrections as simply being trying to get it better than it was on the first pass. And with that, I'll say goodbye.
we all set? Hey, we have to officially recess, so
Oh, well, recess.
So
Okay.
for these
Tom
minutes,
Tom
I'm
made a
just gonna-
motion. I'm sorry?
I'm gonna do minutes and they're gonna be really short.
Yeah, oh,
Over-
yeah,
Good.
very short.
I make a
Right.
motion to adjourn or recess. What are we doing?
We're adjourning. We're done.
Adjourning.
Betsy,
Second.
you want a second?
I did.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch it because we were talking. Okay,
Aye.
we've got a motion and a second. All
Aye.
those in favor, say
Aye.
aye.
Later.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.